Wow. Okay, starting over then.
Wow.
All praise to the Most High. Shalom, everybody. Why ain't y'all putting nothing in the comment section that the mic was muted? Shalom, everybody. Shalom, as always. First and foremost, we want to say all praise and all thanks and praise to the Most High, Ahaya, Bahashim Yeshaya, Wa Rawak. I'm here with Elder Nathaniel of the presiding elder over the House of Judah International Fellowship Church. I am Bishop Taz, and as you all know, it's been quite a while since we've come before you. But all praise to the Most High. We are back for the final day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. All praise to the Most High. Hope everybody had a blessed feast day. If you had a blessed feast day, definitely put a 1 in the chat. It's definitely been a long one up until this point. There's been a lot in development, a lot going on. There's a lot that we're getting ready to do, a lot that we're planning for. So definitely keep your eyes and ears open for that as well. There's been a lot going on over these last couple of months, but all praise to the Most High, we're here. All right. So once again, we want to send our regards and blessings to our family out in Freetown, Sierra Leone. They've been holding it down from the start. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for holding down the work out there. Shabbat Shalom. The ministry is growing out there. We want to send our love to you guys. Thank you, Thawada. And to our body out in the Philippines, Shalom, and all of our followers from all four corners of the world, from the South Pacific to Australia to here in the States to South America. Thank you, Shalom. Good to see you all again. We want to say a thank you to everybody. I think we hit 400 subscribers not too long ago. And even though we haven't been able to go live as of recently with the new message, the brothers and sisters still been drawn to the work. And have still been subscribing. So recently we hit 500 subscribers. Shalom. Thank you for all of that as well. Thawada. Once again, we have our website right here, houseofjudahinternationalfellowship.org. We have all of our social medias down there. Make sure you go and follow those on our website. We have all the information concerning baptisms, what we believe. The calendar is on there. Everything that we have is on this website. So if you want to know about us, you want to know about what we do, everything is right there on that website. Okay. We also have our tithes and donations for baptized members. And for those who are just following ministry, if it's blessed you, please feel free to, we listen, we can't do this work by ourselves. Right. So we definitely need the help of all of you as well. So definitely you got it right there. Boom. Thank you. New sub. So Shalom. Good to see you, man. It's good to see you. Shalom. All praise to the Most High for that. Hey, anybody who's new, definitely drop a comment in the chat. We'd love to see you. I'm so glad that you all have come and been drawn to this work by the Most High and the Holy Spirit. All praise to the Most High for that as well. Okay. Now there's some things in development. There's things that the elder and I want to do. We know that over the last couple of months, specifically the Naphtali lesson has gotten a lot of attention from Australia, New Zealand, the Netherlands. So what we want to do eventually, because we never finished that lesson completely. I don't know if you remember, because at that time we had a bad camera, so we were able to get 2 hours on it. So we never actually completed that lesson, and it's wild that it's resonated with so many of our people in the South Pacific and around the world, and we never even actually completed that lesson. So we're gonna have to take some time in the future, and hopefully in the near future, to actually complete that lesson. And there's some more information that we actually gathered from the Jewish Encyclopedia concerning the 12 tribes of Israel as well, that we would like to bring out. So we may just do that in one lesson, do a Tribe of Naphtali part 2, and then some extra information and details as it pertains to the children of Israel as well. So there's something that we're probably gonna have to do in the future, but that's something that we definitely want to get out there, since those lessons have been a huge blessing to people. That's kind of what kickstarted the growth. That Children of Israel series is definitely what kickstarted the growth of this church and this ministry. If you're watching this video and you've seen and you were brought here or you subscribed because of one of the 12 tribes of Israel lessons, drop a 1 in the chat. Right, that's probably one of the most popular videos, that one of the most popular series that we've done to this point, and it's definitely skyrocketed. Everything from the lessons on Reuben, Judah has been amazing, Issachar, especially Naphtali. Those lessons have been huge for a lot of people. So we're glad that the Most High put that on us to actually be able to bless a lot of people. But man, it feels good to be back. It feels good to be back. Hopefully we don't miss a beat. Yep. See, there we go. We got 1s in the chat right there. See, okay. So let's get back into it. All right. It's been a minute since I've actually gotten in front of the camera to actually do this. Right. So bear with me. All right. So today's lesson, we were going to originally go back. Right. The elder and I, we were thinking, how about we go back to 2 years ago? We did a lesson on the beginning of sorrows, right? On the Passover 2 years ago. And it was a great lesson because the elder sent me a video talking about some of the things that we went over and how those things came to pass when the pandemic hit, right? So we wanted to go back into that and kind of circle around with that information that we had.
Right.
But when I woke up this morning, the Most High put this particular lesson on me to speak on, right? Why? Because there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of people are being pressed. The righteous are being pressed in this time. Obviously, I'm coming home after a certain amount of time away. So if the word that I woke up with on my mind, and I immediately started doing research on it and preparing this as the Most High gave it to me, was the homecoming, right? Homecoming. Right. A lot of people think of the Passover, and you automatically and we think about all the events of the Exodus. Right. But what we don't realize is that was the first instance. That was the prelude to Israel's ultimate homecoming. Right. That was our first time going to a place that we didn't call home yet, but that we call home now. Right. And that's the same place that the Most High Spirit is gathering and bringing us back to. Right. Ultimately, what we're seeing right now, the Passover that we'll endure now, our return that the Most High is preparing us for, is our homecoming, right? Our return home. So the primary question is how great a love the Most High, the Most High must have for the children of Israel, right? Even from the time when we became a nation in Egypt, we served the gods of that country, but his love abode with our fathers, right? Think about that, right? When we went into Egypt 70 souls. We weren't a nation yet, right? We were just a very big family. And over those next couple hundred years, when we grew into a nation, we didn't even grow majority of the time in the customs that our forefathers held, right? Our forefathers, Jacob, Isaac, our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the 12 patriarchs. We went away from those long before we were delivered from Egypt, right? So as we grew as a nation, we weren't even close to the identity of our forefathers at that time. Yet the Most High's love abode with his friend Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as to see us and see a need to save us, to deliver us, right? And that's kind of been the story of Israel. Not only did we become a nation in sin, but once we were brought out of sin, we oft returned to that sin, right? A dog to his vomit, right? Over and over and over again. Yet the story remained the same. The Most High always brought us back home, right? He always welcomed us back with open arms. From captivity to captivity, our nation continued to grow, scatter, and his love and his intentions never once changed. I'm going to say that again. From captivity to captivity, our nation continued to grow and scatter, yet his love and his intentions for our nation never changed. The Most High set in order from the beginning the greatest homecoming ever for his princes and princesses who never deserved it. The Most High set in order from the beginning the greatest homecoming ever for his princes and princesses who never deserved it. His intentions, his intent, every motion, every move, every struggle, every trial, every triumph was organized to lead up to this very homecoming. Right? See, what we come to realize is that our home, Israel, although we consider it our home, it's not our kingdom yet, right? Esau is the beginning of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. That's not home yet, or at least it's not home fully realized. But this home that we're coming back to, remember the prodigal son, when he returned, there was a feast made for him. We've returned home time and time again, but we were never really home, were we? Our mind was always somewhere else. Mm-hmm. Our mind was always where we could be, where we want to be, not necessarily where we need to be. So even though we came home in body, we never came home in spirit. Put a 1 in the chat if you're following me. So this final return home, mm-hmm. this final homecoming is not only a return in body, but it's a return in spirit. The Most High set in order from the beginning the greatest homecoming ever for his princes and princesses who never deserved it. When the Most High saw fit to wake you up out of your sleep, you did not deserve it. You were in sin just like everybody else. When the Most High decided to use Moses to call us out of Egypt, we didn't deserve it at no point in time. He did that based off of a promise that he made to our forefathers. Right? At no point in time did we ever deserve deliverance. Yet he saw fit to deliver us, to bring us back. All we have to do, right? This homecoming has already been set in place. The table is already set. All that's required is for us to make the decision to return home. You just have to make the decision now. Make the decision to come home. Genesis chapter 28, verse 13.
Genesis chapter 28, verse 13 through 15.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham, thy father,
mm-hmm.
and the God of Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
The land whereon thou layest,
mm-hmm.
To thee will I give it, and to thy seed.
So here we see Jacob is laying here having a vision, right? And the Most High, what we see here is actually Jacob's ladder. This is Jacob seeing that in a place where he thought was nothing, he thought it was desolate, it was actually a gate, a portal to the heavens, right? He's seeing angels ascend and descend. That's a portal, right? And the Most High is showing him everything that he showed Abraham when he first told Abraham to get up and walk, right? Mm-hmm. So he says, the land whereon thou liest, to thee I give it, and to thy seed. So a promise has been made, right? He already gave it to us. It already belongs to us. Read.
Verse 14. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, to the east, mm-hmm. and to the north, mm-hmm. and to the south. Mm-hmm. And in thee and in thy seed shall the families of the earth be blessed.
And in thy seed shall the family of the earth be blessed. This once again goes back to the fact that a lot of people say that the 12 tribes of Israel is only scattered in one place. It says, thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. We've been spread everywhere. Remember, as we grow and as we scatter, his intentions remain the same. The table is already set, right? He said, to thee I give it, and to thy seed, right? The land is already ours. The table's already set, but we're spread. We're scattered everywhere. We're everywhere but home. Keep in mind that was a choice, right? We chose to be scattered. We chose to be everywhere but home. It's no different than what Deborah talked about with the tribes of Asher and Dan. She said, why did Asher remain on his coast, and why did Dan remain in his ships? Dan decided to be gone. He decided not to come home for the feast days. That was a decision. Same way as we decided to serve other gods instead of our own. Same way as we decided to sacrifice our kids and send them through the fire to Moloch. All of these were decisions. No one put a gun to our head and told us to do anything. Keep in mind, when we talk about the gun putting to our head, the gun got to our head after we made the wrong decision. A lot of people talk, oh, we were forced to convert to Islam. You already weren't following the laws of Israel, the laws of God. That was a consequence of you not following the laws of God. What? You weren't exactly kingdom people before the Muslims arrived, before the Arabs arrived and forced you to convert. See, all of this was a decision. A decision was placed before us in Deuteronomy 28. Keep the laws and be the top. Don't keep the laws and be the bottom. We chose to be scattered. We chose to not be in our land. We chose not to be home. All of what happens to Israel begins first with a choice. How many of you know getting into the kingdom is a choice? Put a 1 in the chat if you know getting into the kingdom is a choice. That's up to you. Whether or not your name is in the book of life is up to you. How is it up to you? How is it up to you? Because you make a choice to pick up that pork chop or not. You make a choice to break the Sabbath or not. You make a choice to smoke a blunt or not. All of these are choices. This or that. This or these. All of these are choices. Therefore, your getting into the kingdom of heaven is entirely up to you. Your participation in the homecoming is entirely up to you. Your enduring to the end is entirely up to you. Just like when they were told to put the blood on the doorpost, that was entirely up to them. The people who didn't do it, was entirely up to them. See, throughout the entirety of the plagues, nothing fell upon Goshen. Nothing fell upon the children of Israel, right? But this last one, once death was involved, how many of you know death was always a choice? How many of you know death is a choice? Put a 1 in the chat if you know death is a choice. See, those curses and those plagues, they could result in death, but they weren't death directly. Mm-hmm. See, once death became involved, once the angel of death became involved, now Israel had a choice. You either put the blood on the doorpost or you do not and suffer death. Death was always a choice. I place before every man a choice, good and evil, life and death, therefore choose life. That choice is always up to us. Death was always a choice. Adam and Eve chose death. There was the tree of life and there was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. They chose the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They chose death. Death from the beginning was always a choice. Even now, every decision that we make is life and death. Yes, we'll all suffer a physical death, but what about the second death? That's a choice. Because there's life after death. There's also death after death. So even though this goes into the ground, even though this carnal body that we live in goes into the ground, you still have a choice between life or death. It's just that you're making those choices every second, every minute, every day of your life. Death was always a choice. Read.
Verse 15. And behold, I am with thee.
I am with thee. Read.
And I will keep thee in all the places whither thou goest.
Check that out. Even after we chose death, even after we chose captivity, He still says, I am with thee. He still says, I will keep thee in all the places whither thou goest. So even while we're going into these captivities for breaking the law, there he is still holding our hand. Because if he wasn't, we'd be dead already. Keep that in mind. We're building. I know it's been a while, but we're going to get you back into the groove. This is the way we do it. We're building. Right? Read.
And I will bring thee again into this land.
So even from captivity to captivity, being scattered and scattered, he held our hands everywhere we were, just so that he can guide us right back home. Bring us right back home. Read.
For I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of.
He said, I'm not going anywhere until you're back home. What kind of love is that? Even while we blatantly disobey, we serve other gods in front of him, he still hasn't gone anywhere. He's still right there. He says, you're going to do worse. You're going to continue to do evil. But guess what? I'm still going to be right here until it's time to bring you back home. The Most High states, whenever the righteous of his children, that wherever the righteous of his children are, he'll be there to keep him. He'll be there to keep them and will bring them home at the time ordained. The primary thing to remember is that many are called, but only few are chosen. Much like the wedding that Christ talked about in the parable, not all invitations are created equal, right? Some matter more than others, so they are delivered and accepted differently, right? You may send an invitation to your fourth cousin that you don't know that well, but they family. But when you give that invitation to your sibling, your sister, your brother, your mother, your father, your grandparents, that's different. It's not that I can live without you being at the wedding, but these people, I need to be there. You're going to be there. It's different. All of Israel is called back. All of Israel is called back home. Just like everyone has seen or heard the truth at some point when the end comes. But very, very few are actually chosen. These are the ones who will return for the homecoming. Everyone's called back. And if everyone would come, everyone would be accepted. But the problem is people's priorities are mixed up. Yeah, I know it's my cousin's wedding, but you know the Bucks play at 3:00. I know it's my cousin's wedding, but I've been working all week. I'm just tired. Everyone's priorities are different. Do you prioritize coming home, accepting the invitation and coming home, or whatever else is pulling you in a different direction? That's a question. Because everyone receives and accepts that invitation differently. You may RSVP knowing that you're not coming. Yeah, I'm going to be there to the end, brother. Show up. They come and they go. They come and they go. See, people think that they're ready. People think that they have this idea in their mind. You tell them in the beginning, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult. You're going to want to give up sometimes. Oh, I'm going to be fine, brother. I'm here for it. I've been through worse. 24 hours later. Trust me, it's something that I realized a lot over these last 3 months. Not everyone thinks that they're built for it. Everyone thinks that they're ready for it. Everyone thinks that they can handle it. Everyone thinks that they're going to make it until bullets get fired. Until you knock on the door and somebody finally answers, then you realize, oh shoot, this is not for me. A lot of people come and go because not everybody's built for it. See, we look at the homecoming, right? A lot of us, we look at the homecoming, but we forget the journey. See, it was comfortable while we were in Goshen because nothing was coming, nothing was hurting us, nothing was hitting us. But when did it start to press us? When we started the journey home. That was when it got hard. That was when the Israelites got pressed. When we were in Goshen, it was fine. Oh yeah, we had our cattle, we had this, we had that, we had this, we had that. We were comfortable, but with the second it was time to get up and start that journey home, that was when we found out who was for this and who wasn't. A lot of people are going to get exposed on this journey home, people. Tobit was a perfect example of this. Let's get Tobit chapter 1, verse 3.
Tobit chapter 1, verses 3 through 10.
Mm-hmm.
I, Tobit, have walked all the days of my life in the ways of truth and injustice, and did many alms deeds to my brethren and my nation, who came with me to Nineveh, into the land of the Assyrians.
So Tobit was a righteous man in his time. Drop down to verse 5.
Verse 5. All the tribes which together revolted, and the house of my father Naphtali sacrificed unto the heifer Baal.
So at one point, Naphtali was doing righteous. Tobit was from the tribe of Naphtali. And then everyone turned and began worshiping the heifer Baal. When did this happen? This happened with Jeroboam, when he introduced the 2 golden calves so that the children of Israel wouldn't go back, right? The split between Israel and Judah, right? So when the split happened and Jeroboam led the nations towards serving Baal, not all of the tribe of Naphtali went with them. Read.
Verse 6. But I alone went often to Jerusalem at the feast, as it was ordained unto all the people of Israel by an everlasting decree, having the first fruits and tenths of increase, with that which was first shorn, and them gave I at the altar to the priests of the children of Aaron. So out of this entire tribe,
Tobit was the only one going back for the feast. He was the only one who was returning to Jerusalem as he was supposed to for the feast. Read.
Verse 10.
Drop down to verse 10.
And when we were carried away captives to Nineveh, all my brethren and those that were of my kindred did eat of the bread of the Gentiles.
So when they went into captivity, the children of Naphtali and all the other tribes in Assyria ate the bread of the Gentiles, meaning what? They accepted the customs of the Gentiles. Literally ate the bread of the Gentiles. Read.
Verse 11. But I kept myself from eating, because I remembered God with all my heart.
Read.
Verse 13. And the Most High gave me grace and favor before Eleazar, so that I was his purveyor.
The Most High took special care of Tobit and his house, although he was the only one of his tribe who remained keeping the customs and righteousness of Israel. He was the only one. Not only was he the only one, but when they were carried away captive, he was carried away captive with them. Yet he still refused. Was it easy? No, he was hungry. He was starving. Not just him, his house, his family, his wife, his sons. Right? But because he was righteous, was his journey perfect? No. Was it difficult? Absolutely. But because of his righteousness and his favor, the Most High gave him favor in the sight. Because of his righteousness, his stand on righteousness, the Most High gave him favor in the sight of men. We must understand that the way of the righteous and the path to the homecoming is not comfortable, nor is everything going to go the way that we expect. The journey home for Israel many times brought us close enough to death for us just to lose faith, and the Most High to remind us that death was never even a factor. I'm going to say that again. The journey of Israel to their homecoming, the journey home for Israel oftentimes brought us close enough to death for many to lose faith, only for the Most High to remind us that death was never even a factor. No one was ever going to die. You think the Most High would lead you down the path of righteousness just to kill you? Death was never a factor. Death was not possible. So why were the children of Israel fearing something that was never a factor? The fear of death have made servants of many. Well, when I was serving this God and that God, this wasn't happening. When I was in Christianity, I was doing quite well. When I was an atheist, I was doing quite well. The scriptures say, he who comes to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. This journey was never promised to be. Nobody ever said this journey was easy. Nobody ever said this journey was seamless. And if they did, they're liars. Look at the lives of the prophets. What about their life was easy, seamless? What about their journey was simple? What about their deaths was comfortable? Death was never a factor. Why? Because the righteous don't fear death. Right? The righteous shouldn't fear death. Right? So why is death a factor? He always brought Israel close enough to death to expose those who feared it. I'm going to say that again. He always brought Israel close enough to death to expose those who feared it. Why? Because those are the people that'll get you killed. Those are the people who will get you killed. See, the thing is about people who fear death, they don't fear God. They don't have faith. They don't believe a word that the Most High said. Because the Most High, remember, the Most High promised us a homecoming. You got to make it home to have a homecoming, right? So you think he's going to kill you on the journey? If his purpose was to kill everyone before they made it home, or allow everyone to die before they made it home, why would he set the table anyways? So it comes down to the fact that you don't believe what he said in the first place. He brings us close enough to death to expose those who fear it. Psalms chapter 73, verse 1. We're going to keep it short.
Psalms chapter 73, verse 1. Truly, God is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped.
He said, truly, God is good to Israel, even to such that are of a clean heart, meaning the righteous of Israel. he says, but for me, my feet are almost gone. Right? The journey is wearing on me.
Mm-hmm.
My steps had well nigh slipped. Read.
Verse 3, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked.
See, it's not, what we don't realize is it's not the journey that's the most difficult. It's the fact that Israel has a problem looking at everyone else. So you're on this journey and you're seeing how hard your path is. And then you look at your friend who you know is living in righteousness and they're living in wickedness and they're doing so well.
And so it seems.
And so it seems. He said, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. How is it that I'm doing all the right things, but nothing seems to be going right? He said, trust me, I know that the Most High is good to all of Israel, even those who are righteous, but my feet are almost gone.
Mm-hmm.
I almost can't walk no more. The journey is troublesome. See, it's not the journey that makes it so difficult. A lot of us have been through a lot. It's the fact that we know we're sacrificing our flesh for the spirit, but you're not seeing the benefits right now because we're living in the flesh. A fleshly or a carnal person only acknowledges or receives carnal reward or recognizes carnal reward. See, it's difficult living in a carnal world to realize or to remember a spiritual reward. He said, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Let's go to verse 4.
Verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give one moment.
No worries.
Verse 4. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. Verse 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men.
He said they aren't troubled as other men, nor are they plagued as other men. He said, for there are no bands in their death. But their strength is firm. He's like, come on, man. I'm sitting up here doing everything right. Lips chapped, boils in my mouth, haven't eaten for a week. Come on now. Come on now, read.
Verse 6. Therefore pride compasses them about as a chain. Violence covered them as a garment.
They are not only comfortable in their wickedness, but they're bold in their wickedness. Pride compasseth about them as a chain, and violence cover them as a garment. The hardest part of our path home is not the dangers we face, nor the poverty we endure. It is the prosperity of the wicked who do all evil, yet we suffer for righteousness. David battled these same thoughts that we're battling until a light switch on. He had a light bulb. What was that light bulb? Verse 16.
Verse 16.
Right there.
Okay. Psalms chapter 73, verse 16 through 24. When I thought to know this, it was too painful for me until I went into the sanctuary of God, then understood their end.
He said, it was too painful for me until I went into the sanctuary of God and understood their end. Read.
Verse 18. Surely thou didst set them in slippery places. Thou castest them down into destruction. How are they brought into desolation? As in a moment.
He said it's like slippery steps. You fall fast, don't you? You fall fast, don't you? See, the steps were dry to a point. So it looked like they were going fast, they were good. They're like, you know how it is, you get on the steps and you get comfortable, you get in a rhythm, and you start like, yeah, I can go a little bit faster now. Yeah. And they start trying up these steps. And then you hit a slippery one. Boom. That fall is fast, ain't it?
Mhm.
He said, until I search their end. See, think about it. The righteous path is dry step, slippery step, dry step. So it takes you longer, right? You have to take your time. And you're seeing this other person running up. It's like, dang, well, why are these steps dry? Until finally that time comes when all of our steps are dry and all of theirs are slippery. See, our climb was slow, but our ascension swift. Their climb was fast, but their descension swift.
Mhm.
Log in through Facebook. So what he's showing here is like, I thought to know this and it was too painful for me until I went into the sanctuary of God. I went into the sanctuary of God, I prayed, I studied, and then I understood their end. I understood the end of the wicked. So what got him out of his mind of how is me being wicked? How are the wicked doing better than me and I'm righteous? He envied the righteous until he realized what their end was. He said, surely thou didst set them in the slippery places and casted them down into destruction. How are they brought into desolation as in a moment? Boom, like that. Like I said, all those steps were dry. You thought that they were getting where they were going faster until they hit that slippery step and they came all the way down. Not only did they come down, they came down with a lot of injuries too. Everything's broke. Listen, I seen somebody back in high school came down them steps. He came down them steps, and when he hit the ground, it was not pretty. It was bad. I don't know if y'all remember that. Years ago when the kid fell down the steps, it was bad. He said, I thought I should envy them until I saw their end. Mm-hmm. See, it was a blessing that I needed to take my time. Mm-hmm. That all of my trials and tribulations were in the beginning. Read.
They are utterly consumed with terrors. Verse 20. As a dream when one awaketh. So, O Lord, when thou awaketh, thou shalt despise their image. Thus my heart was grieved, and I was pricked in my reins. Check out what David says right here. Check out what he says. Read. Verse 22. So foolish was I and ignorant. I was a beast before thee. He said, how stupid was I to envy them? How foolish was I to envy them? How foolish was I to even think that my God had forgotten? Check out what he says here. Read. Verse 23. Nevertheless, I am continually with thee. Thou hast holden me by my right hand. He's through everything that I've been dealing with, through all the pains, through all the trials, through all the tribulations, through all the losses, the Most High has been right there holding your hand the entire time. He says, so I continue with thee. I am continually with thee. What did the Most High say in Genesis chapter 28? He said, behold, I am with thee, and I will keep thee in all the places whither thou goest. That means when you're down in the gutter, or when you're up in the mansion, or wherever you are, the Most High was there the entire time. He says, I will keep thee in all the places whither thou goest, and I will bring thee again into this land, for I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of. Through all your trials, through all your issues, through all your tribulations, through all your triumphs, the Most High was there the entire time holding your hand. Because if he wasn't, you'd be dead. You'd be dead already. Why?
Because every nation in the earth wants you dead. How? So many times have our people been massacred at genocide and brought to few only to flourish again. What other nation on earth can do that? See, David came to a realization. He came to a realization. He said, my end is better than their end. Because if my end wasn't better, I'd be dead already. How can I be brought so close to death and not be dead? How many of you have come close to death before? Ever wonder how you came back? You had no control over it. It's not just like walking through a door. It just happens. It's like, how did I come so close to being gone and come back? I know because I've experienced it. That close. Anybody who's experienced it knows it's not a choice. It was purely the hand of God pulling me out. And when he pulled me out, it was as if nothing ever happened. The sores in my mouth was gone. The pain that I had, the swelling in my lymph nodes, everything gone by morning. How? Because he brings you so close to death. He brings you close enough to death to expose those who fear it, to expose your fear of it, and to bring you out of it and replace that fear with faith. He's refining. He's refining. He's purifying. He's changing. He's adjusting. And he was holding your hand through it all so that you would realize that at the end of it, he never went anywhere. He didn't just call you home, but if you were chosen, he's been holding your hand the entire way. There's a lot of people who wonder, man, how am I not in jail yet? How am I not dead yet? How do I not have this many kids yet? How do I not have this yet? Because he's been there the entire time. He brought you close enough to the edge so that you could see over, and he pulled you back. Just when you thought you were falling, he reminds you, dude, I've been here. Just when you thought I was gone, here I am. And now that he brought you out of it, see that fear that you had? Remember how you were just starting to think that I wasn't there? Remember how you were just starting to think that maybe I wasn't the most powerful God? What other God could have done for you what I just did? Any other God would have let you die. You would have been chilling with him right in Hades. Not me. I gave you another shot. I gave you another shot to do better. David said, how foolish was I and ignorant to think, to possibly conceive in my mind to be ignorant of a person who serves another God who I know is going to be destroyed in the end. He said, nevertheless, I am continually with thee. Thou hast holden me by my right hand. Verse 24.
Thou shalt guide me with thy counsel, and afterward receive me to glory.
On this journey to the homecoming, he's sent his Holy Spirit to guide you the entire way. And afterwards, the second he sees you, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you've done, his arms are going to be wide open to receive you into glory. Congratulations, son, you've made it. Well done. just as he promised. But you got to get over that fear. Whatever your situation is currently, whatever your situation may be in the future, understand if you're not dead, it's not over. We must understand that just as our father's Passover and deliverance came, destruction, curses, famine, and death came so close to the doors of those marked by the Most High. Right? They came close. It's not like they just jumped over them. You really think the people who were inside didn't hear the angel of death passing? It was that close. It was that close. Their hearts probably was in their stomach. Somebody probably had a heart attack sitting up there waiting. Panic attacks everywhere. But you know what? That blood was on the door. See, the people who had faith and knowing that what Most High was commanded, guess what? They were sound asleep. Remember, Christ was on the boat, this storm, all this chaos. He was sleeping. The disciples thought they were going to die. He's like, listen, bro, and everything that I told you, if everything I told you needs to happen, I am on this boat with you. I am literally on this boat with you. I told you what needed to happen before I could die. So why are you sitting up here thinking that this storm is going to kill you? He was asleep. He knew it wasn't the end. So why is it whenever we get in a bind, whenever we get in a tough spot, it's the end? It's the end of the world. But you should be asleep. Yeah, I'll wake up tomorrow. Yeah. As long as I keep waking up, that's all that matters. Understand, people, as long as you keep waking up, that's all that matters. Because if you endure to the end, you can endure to the end with no socks, no shoes, no shirt. You could be walking, you could be walking into the kingdom butt naked, but guess what? You made it. No food in your stomach. All that matters is that you wake up the next day because you're one day closer to well done. See, David realized something. He saw the end of the righteous. He saw the end of the wicked. And he said the end of the righteous is worth more. Those who are marked with the blood of Christ were not touched. Were they impacted by the curses and the destruction and the famine? Possibly. Nah. No, they weren't. They weren't impacted until it was time to come home. Not everybody deserves to come home. Everyone's called, but not everyone's chosen. Mm-hmm. It's not meant for everyone to come home. So while we were in Goshen and everything was comfortable, yeah, everybody thought, yeah, we're going to be good. We're going to go up in here. We're going to eat on some of that milk and honey. And then the storm came. And then the storm came. And a lot of people got exposed. The lights came on and a lot of people got exposed. If you're not dead, understand that the Most High is holding your hand and you do have grace. Every day that you wake up, just know that he's there. Romans chapter 8, verse 38.
Romans chapter 8, verse 38 through 39. Mm-hmm. For I am persuaded that neither death nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Yeshua Christ our Lord.
How was Paul persuaded? Anybody know? How was Paul persuaded? Anybody have any idea how Paul was able to be persuaded of this? Anybody in the chat, does anybody have any idea how Paul was able to be persuaded of this? Because of everything we just read. How can you read through all of Israel's history, see all the wickedness that we've done, all the evil that we committed up until that point, and he's still there? That's how Paul was persuaded. He read it. He's like, dang, we were doing all of this stuff. We were serving these gods. And he hasn't eliminated us totally yet. Not only that, but he still sent us an invitation to come home. Imagine punching your dad in the face, destroying his house, and putting food in the pot and burning it to the bottom of the pot. Destroyed his pots and pans and everything. Kicked over the trash can, right? And you left.
Who's dead?
Well, somebody's dad. It wouldn't be mine. you done trashed the house, burnt the pans, kicked over the trash, let rats loose in there, and left. And then he still sends you an invitation to come home. That's what we did. We did everything possible to test the limits of the Most High. Everything possible to test his limits. And he still sent us an invitation. That's how Paul was persuaded. He said, I'm persuaded neither life, death, angels, principalities, powers, things present, nor things to come, height, depth, nor any creature shall separate us from the love of God. He witnessed it. He read it. He's seen it throughout our history. He's like, how are you still here? You ever hear a story about somebody's relationship and everything that went wrong up until this point? It's like, how are you guys still together? Like, how did you guys thought, yeah, we've been married for 50 years. How? It's the same thing. We're reading the story of our forefathers and our God, and you get to the end of it and you're thinking, how could he possibly still be here? And if he wasn't, I can see why. If he did choose another nation, which he didn't, I would see why. If he dropped us and went and got somebody else, I could see why. The Most High is setting the table for our Passover and homecoming, coming out of all the nations of the earth. No matter how uncomfortable or uncertain the journey, understand that as long as you have breath, he still guides and protects you. Remember the end of the righteous and the end of the wicked. Get under the leadership of the elders and those set in place to be a covering for the people. Be prepared to endure. Homecoming is upon us. Shalom. That's the end of the lesson. That's the conclusion of today's lesson. It's been a while. It's been a while. Definitely kicked the rust off, but all praise to the Most High. I feel like this was definitely very timely. Put a 1 in the chat if this was a timely lesson or if you gained something out of it. I'm glad you all were able to come in and join us. Put a 1 in the chat if this lesson was a blessing to you. And if you have any chats, if you have any questions, comments, we've been away for a while. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free. Drop them in the comment section. We'll address them as we need. We'll address them as they come. But yeah, it was that with everything that's going on and everything that has been transpiring over the last couple of months, for some of you over the past couple of years, it's very difficult to see any form of light at the end of the tunnel. Right? It's very difficult because it's easy to look at what you can see and what you can feel and interpret that as reality. Right? Until you realize that we're not in reality. Right? Until we realize that we're not in reality. And that, once you realize that you're not in reality, that's when everything changes. That's when your mindset shifts. Right? That's when things begin to change for you. Right? What's that? Okay.
One moment, everybody.
Other.
You keep going. I just try to read through this. I haven't read through it
Yeah.
yet.
So that's the thing, is that what our trials are and what our tribulations are in this time, understand that the Most High has not brought you as far as he's brought you to forsake you. He wouldn't have never allowed you to be born, or he would have killed you at birth. Understand that every day that you wake up is a new opportunity to not only get better, right, but to take advantage of the life that the Most High has afforded you, right? Every day, every minute, every hour, it all works up towards the homecoming, right? If you don't make it to the homecoming, what's the point? If you quit, if you come this far in this journey, in this ministry, just to quit, what's the point? You might as well finish. Even if that's your reasoning for going on every day in righteousness, might as well write it on a piece of paper real big and put it on your door. Might as well finish. Anytime that you're in a bind or you're in a tight situation and you feel like you have no way out, might as well finish. Might as well. Come this far. Might as well finish. Right? Might as well. If nothing else, finish. We're going to have to reach out to her. You can take her name down. Okay. Shalom, Sister Tiffany. We'll be reaching out to you. Do we have any questions or comments concerning anything, not just today's topic, but anything over that you might have seen in the lessons, or any questions that you might have had in your own study times? Do we have any questions or comments from anyone in the chat or in the room before we close this thing out and in the Feast of Unleavened Bread with a bang? Got nothing? All right. Anybody in the chat? Going.
I just want to say this really quick, Salaki. We just got notification that there's someone amongst us that's in need. So if the family could please help out with a small donation, that would be a blessing. So I just want to make sure we're able to help this sister out. So please, someone, if you're able to send something via the Cash App above us right here. That's $HOJ Judah IFC. That will be a blessing. All right. Thank you all.
And it doesn't need to be much. There's a lot of people. Yeah. There's a lot of people who follow this ministry. There's a lot of people in this body. If everyone sends $1.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't need to be much. There's a lot of us, right? There's a lot of brothers and sisters, and that's the thing, is that it doesn't take much. And this is what is going to require when we get into the wilderness anyways. Okay. Everyone's going to have a little, but when we bring it all together, there's a lot.
That's right.
Right. And the thing is that person that you help, believe me, it comes back. It comes back. It may not come back in the same form of cash that you gave out or whatever else you gave out, but it's going to come back. When you need it, the help. Think about it. When you're in need, this church is here for you, right? How are we here for you? We're here by the contributions of the people in the body, our contributions to this body. So if you never contribute to the body, how can we contribute to other people who are in need? How can they contribute to us who are in need to contribute to you when you're in need?
Exactly.
That's why the Bible says that they came together and they had all things common. Right? Everyone, and he gave according to everyone as they had need. If no one gives, if no one wants to bring what they have to the table to benefit the body, there's no way when you get in a bind that we can benefit you. Right? It's just that's the way that it works.
That's right.
We can pour in as much as we can as elder and bishop of the body, but if we don't have the contributions of the people who are receiving, and the people who are and the people who are enjoying the lessons and the ministry and our contributions to you all, right? What can we do? This work can only go so far.
That's right.
Why do you think the first thing that Christ did when he started his ministry was go and get disciples? Because you can't do it by yourself. It's that simple. Not only do you need men to work, but you need people to contribute. We have to come together and have all things common, right?
That's right.
Speaking of, brothers and sisters, if you would like to get baptized, please go to housejudahfellowship.org. You'll be able to speak directly to the elder who will let you know about a baptism in your area. Let him know what area you're in. If you're watching, definitely go to the website and register. And let us know what area that you're in. That way we can determine where everyone is and what and determine how we can get baptisms organized and different things like that for your area. We know that there's a lot of people who are interested in that. So definitely get in contact. Definitely get in contact with the elder to determine how it is that so we can determine how it is we can organize a baptism in your area. Okay. Looks like all hearts and minds are at ease. Elder, you got anything? We'll close it out.
Thawada Urban Brew. Thawada in advance.
Shalom. Thawada.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's all we got.
All right. That's all we got. Brothers and sisters, we want to say Thawada for joining us today. We know that it's been a while, but we hope we made a pretty good impression coming back this week for you. And we will be back again soon. Shalom. Thank you for all your support. Continue to like, share, subscribe. Please subscribe the lessons, share the lessons on all platforms. Get this word out there. Get this ministry out there. Get this work towards the four corners of the earth so we can finally shut this thing down and Christ can come back. If y'all ain't doing y'all work to get this word out there, we're going to be here a lot longer than y'all want to be, okay? But y'all definitely. We appreciate all your support. Continue to support. You guys enjoy the last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Shabbat Shalom. We love you all. Freetown, Sierra Leone. Thank you. Shalom. We love you all as well. Stay prayed up. Be safe. Shalom. We love you all.
Shalom.